Hello everyone and welcome to the Chrissy B Show. Now sometimes you just know that you have to take a risk, whether with your whole life or just one area. And today I'll be speaking to David Smith on why he left his job in Beverly Hills and eventually ended up going to Tanzania with just 2 suitcases. And also there'll be a special treat for one of my guests today, and that's Nicola Roth, who's had a few struggles lately in her life. So today we'll be giving her a bit of a makeover with our makeup expert, Theresa Maegan Gregoire. And we'll also be going to have our news with Excel. But let's meet the girls first. Hello. Well, I know you already.
Yes.
And this is Nicola, everyone. Hi, Nicola. Thanks for coming to the show today.
It's nice. Thanks for having me.
Brilliant. So I know you've had a bit of a confidence knock lately, because can you tell the viewers what's happened recently?
I just recently broke up with my fiance, and then around the same time, like, my cat died, and she was like my baby.
I know.
So it's been a bit much over the kind of like Christmas period and stuff. So
Okay, so you've been feeling a bit low.
Yeah.
And you just need a little boost today.
Yeah.
Okay then, all right.
Definitely.
So we're going to do that for you. So Megan, what are you planning to do today on lovely Nicola? Oh, she's beautiful already, even without the makeup.
I have to say that she's beautiful already, but we do know how good you can feel once you get some fresh colors going.
Yeah.
As well as I think I'm going to introduce some trending colors and give little bits and tips on how to actually do that with lighter skin, darker skin, as well as different things that Nicola might want to do in terms of lip colors, and we're just going to have a blast.
Okay, brilliant. All right. So, it does sort of help when we take care of the outside, even though we might be feeling a bit like, ugh, and, things seem to be going. But just, get a little boost, a little bit of makeup and stuff can lift us up a little bit, can't it?
Definitely.
All right, so I'm going to let you girls get on with it, and we're back again to see you towards the end of the show.
Sounds
all right,
good.
thank you. Alrighty, so let's go and say hello to Excel. Hello, my love.
Hello, Chrissy.
How are you doing?
Yes, I'm very
You look
well,
forward to the
thank you.
makeover?
Oh, well, I am. I can't wait, I have to say. This is exciting times, definitely. How are you yourself?
I'm very well.
I have to say,
I feel a bit low down here.
I
There's
know.
much-
I think I'm sort of towering over you today.
I want to turn my chair around because I seem to be a bit low. This chair goes up as we swivel upwards, but never mind. Okay, am I taller now?
Well, just a tad. Don't worry. You live. You live.
Right.
Don't worry. I have to say.
So tell me.
I have to say, I kind of had to pick out a few things because in line with today's subject, because we're talking about change and how things can sort of change and affect our lives, I suppose, in that context. And I think something quite interesting to note is that no matter what kind of change that people kind of want to make in their lives, there are some key essential sort of benefits, you can say, is central. It's a central theme to all of them. And just to kind of highlight as well, we all know about the famous social media guru, Mark Zuckerberg.
Yes.
Who left Harvard to set up Facebook and see where he is today. And now he's a multi-millionaire, and sort of now he's everybody knows him. I mean, I have to say I didn't know him until a few years ago because I didn't know who actually founded Facebook. But then again, he's made a mark for himself. He's done mergers and all sorts of things. And he actually has advised young people who actually want to make a change and just kind of move forward and not necessarily get stuck in one position thinking this is all I can do, and just be brave and be bold to do something. And I think sort of in finding all of these things, I kind of narrowed it down to 10 key benefits of change. And I think the first
Is that
one,
stuff that he's given, advice that he's
well,
given?
I've looked at a range of because I
okay.
looked into people who are successful and what they consider as a key.
Do you remember who they were?
Well, I've looked into what's this man's name? So now you're going to drop me in it now.
Sorry, all right.
Who's the owner of Virgin? What's his name?
Richard Branson.
There you go, Richard Branson, Mark Zuckerberg, and who else did I look into? There's another woman who works with Mark Zuckerberg as well, somebody Sandberg, I think her name is. I looked into a number of people, and they gave me they've come up with sort of like a central.
Okay, so let's hear the 10 points then.
Yes. We're going to discuss them all at once, of course. We won't rush through them. I'll tease it out bit by bit. Right, so the first one is personal growth, something quite important, because as you make changes, you grow and you learn new things. And then, of course, that also changes something in us personally. You discover different things about yourself that you probably never knew you had or you could do. You learn different things about yourself and about what maybe you were afraid to step out to do in the first place. Because something, for example, that I remember reading from Richard Branson was that he said, if you kind of just stay there. Is the fear of it is what holds you back even more. It's not a case of like you can't do it, but it's the fact that you think you can't, and that's one of the things that
It's funny because when you actually go for it, it's not as bad as you thought it would be.
Exactly.
That's what happens.
Exactly. It's not as scary because it's when you kind of think something is so overwhelming, thinking that you can't do it is quite often what is more. So this is why personal growth is something that's central across them, because you grow and you learn things about yourself. The second point is flexibility, because for somebody to be open to change, you have to be flexible, because in the sense of if you're not flexible and if you're not, if you like, bending to the changes, then it's going to break you. You're going to find it an unpleasant experience. You've got to kind of go with the changes as they happen and be flexible. Bend over backwards, as we hear. But it talks about being able to adapt. Talks about being able to accept new environments, new situations, new people, and it helps you as well not to freak out when you're in a situation where obviously change has happened. It helps you also to promote new ways of thinking. It helps you to think in a different way, because if you kind of do something in a particular way and you only do it in that particular way, when you actually are open to change, it kind of opens another avenue of how things can be done differently, and gives you ideas as well that that keep you sort of fluid and in tune with the times, with changing times. Okay, the third thing was improvements. Improvements are made because, for example, I think one of the things that was, I can't remember which one of them it was that mentioned it, but when you have a change you want to make, say for example in your job, and you don't pursue it in that sort of, with that zeal, it won't improve. Wishing for it to happen will not make it happen. So the way you want things to happen, it's not going to happen by itself. So the way you want things to happen is how you then make little steps towards that direction, because without that, making that step towards that change, even if it's a new job, a new house, a new car, or whatever it is you want to do, you have to make those little steps towards it. So that is what the theme of improvements are. You have to be willing to make the change for you to get the improvements that you want. The fourth thing talks about life values. I mean, it says here, from time to time, changes make you reevaluate your life and look at certain things from a different perspective. So it doesn't mean for you to change what you believe in or what your values are, but the fact that you are willing to reevaluate and say, okay, I do things this way, and say, for example, you come across somebody who does things differently and they may kind of influence you, you might be able to say, right, the way this person does this thing is different, it's refreshing, or it's a different way to how I would do things. What do you think?
Yeah, I think it ties back to the flexibility thing as well, because there are certain things I think that you need to stick to, especially if it's to do with your principles and things that you really believe in, because if you deviate from that, that's when you start to sort of, I think, lose your self-confidence in a way, because you're doing something that you don't really believe in. But if it's something that doesn't go against your principles and your beliefs, but it's something that can improve, and it's just a different idea, because we need to be open to different ideas and different suggestions, because you can grow from that. There's certain things I think you have to stick with no matter what, and other things that you really need to be flexible with.
Because I think it talks about that as well. So it says here, depending on what the change is, it can actually reinforce your life values. Because then you kind of just, kind of see things from a different level, from a different perspective, from a different angle, to say, right, okay, this is something that, because I think the thing about it is that I think central to even all of these points is the fact that we're not rigid. Change is fluid. Change is constant. Change is something that happens all the time. So it's about, being fluid. Something here that was interesting, I can't remember who, someone mentioned, so like the snowball effect. And it talks about the important thing is not to think the change is too much. I can't do this. This is too much, it's too much work. You're looking at the whole, sort of looking at the mountain from such a wide range. It's just about taking step by step by step, and then it builds up into a snowball. A snowball starts small, but as it rolls down the hill, it gets bigger and bigger and bigger. So it's about making, not giving up because we think we can't accomplish the big task, but to consider little changes that can then add up to that big task, that big thing we want to achieve. That's the thing,
because it can feel really overwhelming when you look at the bigger picture of starting something or changing something. It can look wow, how am I going to do this on my own? How am I going to achieve this? But you need to look at the little steps in between and just keep, I know we always talk about this, don't we? You hear it so much, always take one step at a time. But it's so true. But people still, for example, they still think, okay, I want to, be really successful. I want to have my own business, or I want to do this, change my family. And they look at all the work that seems like it's going to take. Yeah. But when they actually just take a step back and think, okay, how am I going to get there, and think about the different ways they can get there, it's not actually that bad. And when one door opens, you sort of go for one thing, then something else happens for you, something else positive happens, and things come from different directions that you weren't even expecting, all because you've taken that first step.
Absolutely. I mean, I say all the time, for example, because I work with people in this field, and I talk about making little changes. Because, for example, someone who says they're afraid to come out, they're afraid to leave their house, they don't see themselves leaving their house because they're so depressed. Even stepping out and taking a walk, just step out your front door.
Just something, right?
That's, for day one, that's the first step.
That is, and it's something.
And then,
so we've run out of time, but you've got how many more points?
I've got 5 more to go.
You've got 5 more points. So we're going to speak to David after this break. David Smith, who changed his whole life, I have to say, and is doing really well today. And then Excel's going to be back with us to go through the other 5 points of why it's good to change.
Benefits of change.
The benefits of change. So do join us after this.
Don't forget to subscribe to the Chrissy B Show, always aiming to show you the happier side of life. You can find us on YouTube, Facebook and Twitter.
Welcome back to the show. So today we're talking about making a fresh start, and someone who did that was my next guest, David Smith. Hello, David.
Hi, Chrissy.
How are you?
I'm pretty good. Yourself?
I'm well, thank you. So good to have you on the show, because you did make a pretty major decision in your life. So you were living in Beverly Hills. Can you tell us what you were doing there, first of all?
I was at the American Film Institute Centre for Advanced Film Studies.
Okay.
I'd done a film training in London, and I got the chance to go there for a couple of years to do further training.
What was it like training there and working there?
It was like I'd died and gone to heaven. For a working class kid from Preston to go to Beverly Hills, it was just unbelievable. We were housed in this mansion that was, by Beverly Hills standards, over the top.
Wow.
And we'd be sitting down for coffee, and Gregory Peck would wander in, or Charlton, these mythical figures would suddenly... And it was just amazing to be in Hollywood. I mean, I wasn't so interested in the stars, I was interested in the cameraman, being a cameraman.
Okay.
And I befriended a cameraman that shot, it's called Leon Shamrow, no one's heard of him, but he did South Pacific and Porgy and Bess and Cleopatra. And I used to go up to his house on a Friday night with some hamburgers, and we'd sit down and watch The King and I,
Oh, wow.
Cleopatra, and it was just
that's been so nice.
unreal.
Yeah.
And
Do we have a picture? I think we've got a photo of you. Was this when you first went, this black and white picture?
This one, that was my first road movie that I made in America. We all bundled into that camper van and went on the road and made films, and
that's been so cool.
Picked someone up with a guitar and followed their story, and it was fun. It was really exciting.
But then one day you decided to leave Beverly Hills, because that was like a really nice lifestyle, so a dream for a lot of people to be there. Why was that?
Yeah, a combination of things. I mean, I wanted to come home and work in my own home country. There was someone I was rather fond of in Britain, I wanted to be with. So it was kind of, the next phase. But sadly, when I got back to Britain, I couldn't get into the industry because of the film union at that time was a brick wall. So I had. Did
you feel at that stage that you'd made the wrong decision to come over, or were you like, no, it's like I'm going to find another way to do this?
Well, fortunately, I had a friend in Australia who I'd been at film school with in London, and he said, "Come to Australia. There's lots of work here, and there's no unions." So I got on a plane and went to Perth, Australia.
Okay. How long were you there for?
I was there for 2 years. Okay. But what was interesting was I had a staff job. And my first assignment, it's now 73, was to go to Ethiopia and film the famine.
Oh, right.
And you can't imagine a greater contrast than Beverly Hills to a famine in Ethiopia. And I think it set a seed for me that I need to do something about this, not just film it. I actually
Really?
need to
Went
do
that deep
something.
to-
Yeah, I mean, as a cameraman, you have to get on with the job and film it. And
But what kind of emotions were you going through when seeing all of that?
well, it was a combination of sorrow and anger, because most of these disasters could be, if not prevented, they could be dealt with if we really wanted to. You know, there's all sorts of political and things that make these things happen. But, you know, to film a line of children in the morning, and when you come back in the afternoon, half of them are dead because they don't have enough food. You know, it does make you, I think it made me very, very angry, actually. And
But it was the kind of anger that, like you said, it wasn't just there. You did something with that.
yes, I felt I've got to do something about this. But I mean, I went on to film other famines and civil wars. I was in
But it was still there. That
yes, I was in Rwanda during the genocide and filmed the bodies going down the river, and I've seen some terrible things, actually. And it did affect me, I think, quite deeply, such that I decided to come back to Britain, and I thought, I'm going to start in my own country with a culture I understand, a language I understand. So I went back to university and trained to be a social worker.
okay.
And moved to Scotland and worked as a social worker, and I loved it. But I never gave up filmmaking.
Okay.
Every vacation I'd be off to Africa or India or somewhere.
Now, where did Tanzania come in? Because I know you started a charity in Tanzania. How did that come about?
Well, we need to roll the clock forward quite a bit, but I actually got back into the industry, and then I started, I decided to go back into social work and do care work, looking after people with dementia. And in the middle of one of the jobs, I got a call from Australia, from the producer that I'd worked with, and he said, "Hi David, do you fancy going to Tanzania, setting up an aid agency?" Now, I didn't know where Tanzania was, and I'd never set up an aid agency.
And you said yes.
I was nearly 60, but I like a challenge. So I said, sure.
Wow.
Would it be useful to learn Swahili? And I literally, you know, got on a plane. Well, I did a lot of reading about aid agencies. Got on a plane, arrived in Dar es Salaam with 2 suitcases, and right, where do I begin?
Oh wow. So what was it like when you got there?
Well, it was very hot. It's 30 degrees all year round in Tanzania. I checked into a cheap hotel and I thought, right, how do I start to make connections? Facebook, that's a good way. And Skype. And I started to make a few connections. I went round other aid agencies to see what they were doing, and found a niche that wasn't being covered, which was school feeding. Because in government schools, they don't provide any food. And some of these kids are walking 2-3 hours to get to school. They're hungry when they get there.
Yeah.
By lunchtime, they just want to go home. So I decided that's a good thing to do. It's not stepping on any toes. It's you know, but I wanted to set it up in a way that was sustainable, so that even if we did pull out, it would carry on. And we put in energy efficient stoves, local food source. We got the mothers to do the cooking, the teachers to distribute
nice. So
it.
you got everyone involved.
Everyone involved, and in some cases it meant putting in water supplies, sometimes power for pumps. But the other thing is I needed, as I say, I couldn't stay in a cheap hotel, so I needed somewhere to stay and an office. And I needed someone to look after it and sort of look after me, really, while I was doing the job.
Yeah.
And the district commissioner, who I needed to get permission from, said, "Would you go and see this family, this poor family? You know, they need some help." And I went out into the outskirts of Dar, and it was a widowed grandmother. Both her children had died of AIDS, and she had the 4 grandchildren. They were living in one room and about to be evicted, and the children put out of school. And suddenly I had this moment, we could make this into a win-win. I'll take Mum on as my housekeeper, I'll put the children through school, and we'll all win.
Yeah.
So they came to join me, and they were amazing. They did everything, and you know, I needed to do my job, so that I knew there was a place to come back to and a meal.
And you were helping them at the same time?
Helping them.
Now, David, you're actually helping you helped how many children? Because we've only got a couple of minutes left to the break, I'm afraid, but how many?
Well, by the time I was there for 3 years, and we built it up, I think...
We've got some photos as well, don't we? Can we take a look at those?
Yes, I think we should have some pictures. Yeah, those are the
now they look happy.
kids enjoying their porridge.
Bless them.
Nutritious porridge. I mean, one thing about the kids there, they have such joy in their faces once they've got a meal inside them.
Of course, anyone gets grumpy if they're hungry, don't they? But imagine trying to study and trying to learn on an empty stomach. It's
and
terrible.
Education is so vital for it. They know that's the only way they're going to improve their lot in life. So
how many kids did you help in the end there?
Well, the latest count, it's 30,000, but
wow, that's amazing.
I was there for 3 years, and then I decided I'd done enough, as much as I could do, and I missed the seasons. So I'd taken on a Tanzanian to be my sort of assistant, and I passed on the job to him.
Oh, wonderful.
And he's kept the ball rolling and going from strength to strength. So
that's excellent. Congratulations for that's an amazing thing that you did.
Thank you very much.
Now you are doing something else now, which unfortunately we don't have time to speak about, but I would like to invite you on another time when when you get that going. And it's very, very interesting. Again, it's helping others, because you have that, I can see that you have that inside of you. You love to help, even the kind of work that you did before.
Can I briefly say I was motivated by a guidance teacher at school who said, "Smith, you'll never change the world. The last person who tried ended up on a cross." And he's motivated me to keep trying and proving him wrong.
Good for you. Good for you. All right, David, thank you so much. Pleasure to talk to you. Thank you so much. Okay, guys, so stay tuned, because after the break, we'll have more news with Excel, and we'll be watching a video about a very courageous man who also made a huge difference in people's lives. And don't forget, Megan is busy doing a makeover for one of our guests today, and you'll see the result at the end of the program. So don't go away.
Don't forget to subscribe to the Chrissy B Show, always aiming to show you the happier side of life. You can find us on YouTube, Facebook and Twitter.
Welcome back, everyone. Now, before we go to Excel, let's take a look at this trailer of a documentary about a very courageous man, Sir Nicholas Winton.
This old man saved my life and that of hundreds of others in the Second World War.
I have a motto that if something isn't blatantly impossible, there must be a way of doing it. I saw those people who were in difficulty, in danger, people on Hitler's blacklist.
It all happened so suddenly. My mother took us 4 children. We just ran for our lives.
We tried to get to America. We tried to get to England. We tried to get to Palestine. But all the governments said, our borders are now closed.
And there was no way out.
We had organized 8 transports from Prague. There were thousands of children on the lists who wanted to get out.
Then the day came that we had to leave. We went to the train. Everybody was there already, my grandparents and all our friends.
The last thing my dad said to me was I should be his brave, cheerful little girl. And I think I have been.
Our greatest regret was that our biggest transport, which was 250 children, was cancelled because war started. And almost none of those children survived.
My family, none of these people survived.
Nicholas Winton has influenced so many people all over the world to help someone who is very ill or in danger.
I never thought what I did 70 years ago was going to have such a big impact as apparently it has. And if it has now got a story which helps people to live for the future, well, that will be an added bonus.
What a remarkable man. So what did you think of that?
Oh my gosh, yeah, I have to say, those number of people that he saved thanks to his that's a strong man there, I have to say. It's very strong.
Took a big risk.
Very, because he just didn't consider his own, I suppose, his own danger to his own life, really. Gosh, that's pretty remarkable.
That's amazing. That's what impresses me when people do something for others, not the amount of money they have or, you know, the status they have. That doesn't impress me at all. Things like this do.
Because at the end of the day, they put themselves, I suppose it's showing their selflessness. I think that's what makes it endearing.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. And I think, actually, incidentally, that leads to my next point, which talks about strength. For change to happen, you need
Remind
to
the
be
viewers
strong.
like what we're talking about here.
Well, we're talking about the benefits of change. We've talked about personal growth, how things, you know, developing new insights will lead to your personal growth, to change. The second point was flexibility, and talks about how you adapt to things, being flexible, as you know, self-explanatory. Then the third point was improvements. Whatever we need to have in life, we need to make those little changes. That's when we get to the big change that we want, you know, to get to the effect that we want. The fourth one was about life values, that you get to reevaluate yourself, and certain things will help you have a different perspective and even redefine or reinforce your life values. And the fifth point was a snowball effect, talking about how we need to start small and keep going, and it will build up into something big.
Exactly.
That big, you know, big snowball at the end of it. And the sixth point here, which ties in with, you know, Sir Winton.
Sir Nicholas Winton.
Nicholas Winton, yes. It talks about strength, saying not all changes leads you to pleasant periods in life. It won't all be pleasant. We won't have the fairy tale ending and all of that business necessarily, but however, going through this tough period will make you stronger.
It does.
And he links it as well to the workplace, saying about how you need to allow the period of change also shows in the workplace who's who, basically. So those who accept change with a positive attitude will work hard, and then they'll be able to work better in the work environment. And those who can't, unfortunately, they might end up going or whatever. But the change always kind of separates the men from the boys, the women from the ladies, the strong ones. Sorry, the women from the girls, women from the ladies. But yes, you know what I mean. But yeah, so, you know, that sort of, it shows. Progress is the seventh point, where it talks about things move forward because when you with change you effect progress, and it talks about skills growth. You develop new skills, you master new skills, and you provide the means necessary to improve yourself and learn different methods and different software for completing tasks. Again, linking it to the workplace. The eighth point is opportunities. Because with change comes new opportunities. You never know what doing something different might lead you in the end. Because you might end up having...
Nothing new will happen if you're doing the same thing day in, day out. You take
That's what Albert Einstein said. Indeed.
The same way to work. You go to the same places to eat.
You're never going to get anything changing. No. So change definitely brings opportunities, because you never know. With new opportunities as well, there was a study that was done just quickly. The incorporation of changes in providing, for example, flexibility in job descriptions, development of specialized teams, development of development of more products, development of productivity leads to more product, and it gives you equal or even greater profits that can be enjoyed by both management and staff. And making these changes will show that you're bringing choices for people. Because I think when people have a choice as well, you have more opportunities for growth, you have more opportunities for improvement when you provide choice, more choice. New beginnings is the 9th point, and it talks about every change is a turning page, and it's about closing one chapter and opening another one. And I think with some things, we've identified in the previous points, it's like you can have modifications of certain things. But for example, say with Mark Zuckerberg, it was a completely new change. Yeah. He just left what he was doing and he just went to open social media. You think, huh? What are you doing? You mad? Are you crazy? And all that. Or even people like, for example, Victoria Beckham. She was in a music group, right? She was in the Spice Girls. We know her, you know, I wanna, whatever. And
we're gonna break into a dance.
I'm gonna break into a dance now. Yeah. Where's my Union
Was that
Jack?
one of their moves?
Where's my Union Jack hot pants? Who was that? Was that Sporty Spice or Scary Spice, whoever? But anyway, Victoria Beckham, you know, we can tease her and say whatever we want to say about her, but she left Spice Girls and is now an accomplished designer. Yes, she pouts. Yes, she has a sour face. Yes, people will either love her or hate her. But one thing is guaranteed, that we can't say she hasn't reinvented herself. She took a big risk there and moved her family all the way to America and all that. And, you know, it's brought exciting times for her. And the 10th point is routine. Because one thing that definitely change brings about is a break in our routine. Because if you look at it, like you mentioned earlier, you always do the same thing day in, day out.
Some people eat the same sandwich every single day.
Seriously, I don't understand. I know someone who literally only ever eats the same thing. He literally cannot eat anything else.
Really?
When he goes away on holiday,
no, he doesn't take.
He packs that thing with him. I'm not going to say, because if he's watching, he knows I'm talking about him. Sorry, love.
I think he knows already.
I think he knows already, exactly.
What is it called?
But he packs bun and cheese.
No.
Because he loves bun and cheese. He's a Jamaican and he only eats Jamaican food. He will not eat anything else, and he only eats Jamaican. So if he's going away, the other day he told me he went to Turkey and he packed bun and cheese because he didn't know if he was going to like Turkish food. Really? Okay.
No, my husband was a little bit like that when we first started going out. He was very sort of particular with his food and he wouldn't try things, but I kind of coaxed him and he'd try so many different things.
This is the thing.
It makes life more exciting.
Absolutely. Like I say, at least I'll try something once. Then I'll tell you, ooh, I tried it, I didn't like it. Yeah. I'm not saying you have to like everything. I'm not saying you have to
your
be...
whole new horizons open. How long, is this the last point, by the way?
Yeah, this is the last one.
Okay, yeah, so we can talk about it for another minute. Yeah, so it's like, I forgot what I was going to say now. Anyway, carry on.
But you open a whole new, a whole new horizon, because then you're exploring things. Because like I keep saying to him, how do you know that you're going to like bun and cheese? How did you know you were going to like the first curry goat you tasted, or the first, whatever it is that you like now? You had to try it once. Yeah. So try something else and see. The odd occasion, he will try. The other occasion, like one time I kind of, not made him, but I kind of said, would you want to try this? And he said, I don't know. And then he tried it and he liked it. And then he's telling me, oh, that's dangerous, because now that he's tried it, he's going to only now want to eat that, because he will now add that to his select foods that he's going to.
He just has to,
seriously. But I mean,
all those points are very important.
Yeah, because I think breaking monotony, it just stops you from being predictable, from being boring, from being dull.
And you do get bored of life if you're doing the same thing. So making a fresh start, making a change is really good for you as well. Yeah. Good for your mental health.
Absolutely,
very
because
good.
I think this is the thing as well, where it says here, when you're tempted to stick to your routine, just remember the chances that it offers to you.
Definitely. Excel, thank you so much.
You're very welcome.
After the break, stay around, because we're going to see how Nicola Roth looks. She's been getting on with her makeover, and also we're going to see the result, the beautiful result, and we'll be getting some makeup tips from expert Megan.
Don't forget to subscribe to the Chrissy B Show, always aiming to show you the happier side of life. You can find us on YouTube, Facebook and Twitter.
welcome back to the show. And this show today has been all about making a fresh start. So at the beginning of the show, we met Nicola Roth, who's had a difficult time lately. She broke up with her fiance and in December, and she also lost her little cat that she had as well that died. So 2 major losses in her life. So we decided today to give her a makeup by the wonderful Theresa Maegan Gregoire, makeup expert who's done a fabulous job. So let's take a look at how she was before. Okay, so there she is. Still lovely smile, even though she's had a few things going on in her life. So let's go and see the results of her. It's not quite finished because Megan's going to do a bit of lipstick and stuff, but let's take a look at how she's looking so far. And I have to say, what a fantastic job. You look beautiful, my darling.
Thank you.
So you're still going to do some lipstick, but just from what you've seen so far, Nicola, how do you feel about the makeup? How's it making you feel?
Yeah, I'm ready to go out.
Yeah, ready to go out. Okay, that's great. So Megan, if you can just talk us through what you've done here and the kind of look that you've gone for, and also you're going to talk about the lipstick that you're going to use on Nicola.
Yes, absolutely. So as you can see, Nicola, obviously, she's a natural beauty. And one of the things is that we had a lot of options with this palette. And so what I wanted to do was give her some options. So we talked and chatted, and we went into depth about kind of what she does for a daily look.
Okay.
And I think 2 things she said she couldn't be without is the eyebrow definition and the liner.
Yeah.
Which I like, which looked very natural when she came in before we had taken off the makeup. Absolutely, those are staples. So I have to say that your makeup skills are quite good as is, but we pumped it up a bit.
Okay.
So one of the things that we tried out, which I was very happy to use this evening, was Uninterrupted, which is this kind of wooden type hue brown that's a bit dreamy. It's not a color I would really pick up normally, but on in different skin tones, it really does do some drama. And what we've done here with Nicola, because she is deeper skin, is we've put it in the crease of her eye here. So I'm just going to show you where we've placed this color, because Chrissy, on different skin tones, this is going to create different drama. And on lighter skin tones, you wouldn't believe how great this looks, just wrapped around the eye as is, with absolutely nothing but this uninterrupted color by MAC.
That's nice.
And it just looks lovely. On Nicola, we used it in the crease just to create some depth, and look up, and just a little bit under as well. We've used this. And one of the things is when using this as a contour for her eye, you can go a bit mad with what you do in between. So what we've done here is, believe it or not, we've added some hot pink.
Really? What?
I will show you.
Oh.
So we've added some hot pink just in...
All right, okay.
Just before the crease. So you really have to do some placement when you are using these colors, but don't be afraid of these colors as well. And that's why I really chose these colors, to show the viewers how to use these. And you could see when I
They do look a bit bright and scary, and you think, gosh, if I put this on, I'm going to look like a clown.
Isn't it?
But when it goes on, it looks amazing.
It is. And I'll show you the purple that we used, which is a little bit more powerful.
Wow, yeah.
As well. And it is a very distinct purple. It's just that one right there. And I have to say that, one of the things that I think people shy away from is, where do we place these on the eye? So, we have started this into a little bit of a dreamy, smoky eye. But I have to say, when you showed the before and after, she looked so natural, isn't it? She just looked natural, but yet you can see how pigmented these colors are.
Yeah.
And so we also, if you look up, we've also added them underneath as well. So like I said, when you're doing...
Just a touch, isn't it? Yeah.
Just a touch. When you're doing that, you want to, obviously... I like doing this before you've applied mascara, and I think that would be what you do regardless. Obviously, mascara and liner are the last things. But one of the things is that you make sure that you actually do wipe away if it does go on the skin. You do wipe that away because they are pigmented, so you don't want to have hot pink freckles. However, on the catwalk that may be trending, you might want to do your base after. So I'll just go to her base because that is something that I just love on Nicola. Is obviously, Chrissy, you know me, I'm about the 3-dimensional cheek. Yes. And I just love doing 3 dimensions. And on any skin tone, you want to be able to have 2 shades darker right underneath your cheekbone. And I'll show you where to place that. So we've just warmed her contour with this 2 dark tan powder, and we've then placed a nice bronzy type shimmery blush called Sweet as Cocoa, which I think that's very good descriptive word. Looking at her is Sweet as Cocoa, just to warm up her cheeks there. And you really want to be sure to get a highlighter. And there's different types of highlighters. This one's just a nice white called Luna from MAC Cosmetics, and it's a cream color base. So Nicola was saying to me, I said, what was your 3 o'clock whoa, when you look in the mirror and you think, I need to blot something, I need to, what is it with your makeup when you look in the mirror? And she said that her face actually absorbs the makeup. So, it's quite thirsty. So that to me tells me that maybe that you should be, moisturizing in the nighttime. And the first thing I asked her was about her routine. And so, from 25 on, they say we have mature skin, and that's when it stops actually it stops shedding. And so you have this layer of dull skin, and some people think, I need to get more makeup, I need to wake up my makeup, and they think they need more products and this and that. Actually, what you might need is a very natural scrub before you go to bed, and then soaking that dry, because obviously if you exfoliate, it's going to produce a dry base. You just use that time in the nighttime to put that thicker moisturizer on, soak it up, and you will produce a very younger, more vibrant outcome. So with the lips, I'm going to just show you the different lip looks, and one of the things when people have lipstick, they're very shy away from, and I'm going to use a technique. I'm just rubbing it on my finger here, the lipstick, and I'm just going to actually press and stain this onto Nicola's lip.
You're not just smacking it on, you're doing it just...
Yeah, just kind of gently, just blotting. It's almost like a stain. And some people with very pigmented lipstick, they think, oh, I need to put layers and layers and layers on.
Not necessary, is it?
And it's not necessary, because what this does is it actually gives you that color, and it looks more like your lip. So you could see if you look, she actually looks like that's her lip color. Looks so natural. It doesn't look caked on, doesn't look like you're wearing makeup. And that's the best makeup, is when someone looks at you and they actually don't know that you're wearing makeup, or it's very subtle. Then, that to me is a job well done. So we have what's called polished up. And this is a darker brown, which we could also have used. I used one from Shu Uemura. It's Rouge Unlimited 945, and that's more of kind of a bridal color, that natural lip tone that she already has. So I'm just gonna, again, rub it on my finger and just show you what this looks like with a more bronzy. This is absolutely gorgeous on her, isn't it? So it's just, you can see it already. It's just warming up. She's not wearing, a dark liner. She's looking still natural with very pigmented products. But Chrissy, it's the way that you apply it.
That looks really lovely.
That looks really
well done.
lovely.
You're very talented, Megan.
Wow.
Thank you so much.
You, Chrissy.
Have you enjoyed the experience, Nicola?
Yeah, it's been so nice.
All
I
right.
do want to take her home.
Oh yeah, I know. Tell me about it. Now, Nicola, I know I did ask you earlier whether you've been put off men, and what did you say to me?
Yes.
She has. Bless her. But that was one bad experience. But as we know, there's plenty more fish in the sea. We all know that, and I'm sure you're going to find a person that's going to treat you right. I'm sure about that. All right, so I hope you've enjoyed it, and it was great having you on. Thank you so much for your expert tips and the great job that you've done on Nicola here. And guys, if you want to be featured on the show, maybe you've been through something lately, it's made you feel a bit down, a bit depressed, and you'd like a bit of a lift on the show by having a makeover by our expert over here, you can email me on Chris at chrissybshow.tv. Just let me know why it is that you feel like you deserve a makeover, and then we'll take it from there. So we have reached the end of today's program, so thank you so much for watching. If you want more information about the program, you can visit the website chrissybshow.tv. And remember, don't be afraid to start again. Sometimes that's exactly what you need to be happy. See you for now.